Hey everybody, welcome back. Craig Shoup here with George Thomas. I don't know. Are you real or is that really George on the other end of the screen here? Am I seeing you, George? How are you?
I, after a lot of medical issues, I'm fairly fine, healing, getting a little bit better every day. And yes, it's me on the other side of the screen.
Well, we're glad that you're better and we're glad that you're here. And today, you kind of missed the bad parts of film. So you kind of lucked out there with your missing of the month of September, although there were a couple of decent releases. The Wild Robot, Megalopolis was interesting. You also missed a lot of October, but we're back. It's the holiday season. Thanksgiving is upon us, and that means we have big holiday releases. Wicked Part 1 is that release. It is going to, based on trying to book seats for this movie in a Dolby Cinema near me, I think it's going to make a lot of money, George.
Really?
I think so. All of the Dolby Cinema screen times were almost sold out, and the IMAX times were almost sold out. And there were very few and far between in terms of the regular 2D, or I think they might even have 3D. I'm not sure, but yeah, it looks like this is going to be a big box office whale, and I think it's probably coming at the right time because we have seen a couple of months in the fall here where we have not really experienced a lot of box office success. The Wild Robot did well, I think, for what it was expected to do. Venom did okay, but here we have a movie that's probably going to make as much money as Venom made domestically so far, with like $129 million in one weekend. Probably this is a projected 120, $130 million, opening weekend. So everybody's been excited about this. This is kind of years in the making, right? Like everybody's wondered, when are they going to adapt Wicked? We finally get it. We only get a part 1 here for this year, and then we'll have to wait a whole another year for part 2. Is this worth the wait for Wicked fans?
First of all, I have a question.
Okay.
When you say Dolby, do you mean Dolby Atmos?
I mean Dolby Cinema, Dolby Atmos, Dolby Cinema, yes.
Okay, I saw it in Atmos. Now,
Okay.
I saw it in a theater, and I get why they made me trek 30 miles
Mm-hmm.
to go see this in Atmos. It's
Yeah.
an experience like few others in a movie theater.
Okay.
So if you can see it that way, I highly recommend it.
I am holding out for that. Yeah.
Number 2, 2 decades in the making. I'm pretty sure they sold the film rights to the play.
Yeah.
A year after it debuted on Broadway. I mean, and why wouldn't why wouldn't Universal snap up the rights? It's based on classic IP.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's wholly original, basically. Is it worth the wait? I'll couch it in these terms. I didn't like the musical.
Okay.
Now, John Chu does something, even though the film is 2 hours and 41 minutes and the actual play is 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Okay.
He manages to pad the film, part 1, and he makes it better than what I saw here at Playhouse Square in Cleveland.
Okay.
I'm at toured here. I wasn't enamored of the music.
Okay.
In the theater, in the movie theater, I heard something different. Maybe it was the lusher orchestration.
Right.
Maybe it's just because I saw it in the movie theater and it was easier to see the emotions involved, all of this. And I came away thoroughly impressed.
Okay.
I was thoroughly shocked that I enjoyed it more than I did, because I love Broadway musicals. It was more enjoyable to me than a Broadway musical.
Okay. Well, and you mentioned John Chu, the director. I think he made a movie that you and I both really enjoyed, In the Heights. Unfortunately, it came out during COVID, and it was a straight to Max release, and but it was very, very, very good and extremely entertaining. So I think there, also he made Crazy Rich Asians, which also was well received, made a lot of money, and I think there's a lot of high hopes for him handling this material. Does it seem like 2 hours and 40 minutes is too much time for this? I mean, could it, with a part two coming on the way, does it need to? I mean, this is as long as like Dune Part One was. I mean, do they really need that much time to set things up for the inevitable finale next year?
Do they? Not necessarily, but Universal is basically milking this property.
Right.
They're so I get why they did it. Now, if the filler, and there's plenty of filler, had fallen flat, I think I'd say it was a big mistake, but it doesn't.
Okay.
There's a depth of feeling, depth of emotion added in some of that filler. And it only feels like 2 hours and 41 minutes if you go in with a full bladder. And
I hear that. Yeah, I know what you mean there. Well,
given
yeah, go ahead.
Given what I've been through lately, I went in with a full bladder. So,
and obviously, we talk about musicals. What it comes down to is it's going to be the music, and we have Ariana Grande, Cynthia Erivo, who I love, and she's kind of a late arriver to the film world and television world, but she has put together a pretty strong filmography in like 10 years. And I'm really happy to see her kind of get this role where maybe she gets more appeal to the mass audiences. And then, of course, Ariana Grande, I think, has a great singing voice as well. But you've got a great cast here. Jeff Goldblum, Michelle Yeoh. I mean, this is Peter Dinklage is in here. So you've got really a standout cast. I mean, is the music up to snuff? Is the singing good? Is the cast where they need to be here with a movie like this to carry it along?
Oh, absolutely. And you talk Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo. I'm not. This isn't even going out on a limb. Cynthia Erivo will be nominated.
Okay.
I mean, and she's the emotional center of the film. It's a wonderful, nuanced, portrayal that runs the gamut of emotions. It's laced with humor. It's laced with pain. It's laced with happiness in some instances. Mm-hmm. And she is a wonder to behold in bringing all of that to the film. The music, like I said, I don't know if it's a difference in orchestration. The fact that they used a 100-piece orchestra to record this as opposed to the 23-piece orchestra that was in the touring musical. Maybe that's it. But yeah, the choreography is grand and a spectacle. Mm-hmm. This movie was done absolutely positively right. And give John Chu credit. It's an homage of sorts to The Wizard of Oz.
Right.
That you can see lots of touches he borrowed from that 1939 classic.
Right. Okay. Well, obviously, we like to talk grades here. What did you give Wicked?
What would I give it? I give it a B+ to A-.
Okay. Now, are you confident? I mean, this is one of those years, we've talked about this even throughout the year, that it's one of those wonky kind of years for the Academy Awards, because you're coming off of a writer's strike and actor's strike last year that really delayed a lot of projects or reshot things and just kind of, really upset the train going down the tracks for movies coming out this year. It sort of has been one of those years where I don't know that it's been a great year in film. Dune 2 kind of held the mantle for quite a while. I know Anora came out strong with the Cannes Film Festival Palme d'Or. It also did well at Toronto. The Brutalist has done well, with Toronto screenings. Does this feel like a movie that's safely in that top 10, maybe for Best Picture?
Right now, absolutely.
Okay.
And it'll likely get in the top 10 for the year for the Oscars, but it'll sweep, I think, all the technical awards.
Okay.
I really think so. Um, it's doing, from what I witnessed in the theater and where I saw it, it's doing, or it might do for the musical what they hoped Phantom of the Opera would do, what they hoped Rent would do. You
Mm-hmm.
know, the label musical has been problematic in recent years, and I think this could change that
Okay.
to a certain degree. I mean, I don't know if Hamilton will ever be actually made into a film release
Right.
as opposed to what was recorded and shown on Disney Plus. But if I'm Hollywood and this is the success that you and I both think it will be, I'm taking a look at a property like that
Right.
for adaptation to the big screen.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, it's good to be back, George. I know that this week we just have Wicked, but have you watched anything that you want to tell everybody about over the last couple of months, maybe, or just what have you been watching as you've been recouping?
Check out Cross on Amazon Prime. That
Okay.
just debuted.
Okay.
That is intriguing, well acted. Um, I have to catch up on a lot of stuff. I got a bunch of screeners,
Okay.
but Cross immediately comes to mind.
Okay. All right, fantastic. Obviously, next week's a weird week with the holidays, so we might either, if we record earlier, we might, but if not, we might skip next week. But what's coming up on the horizon for you that you are planning on seeing?
Oh, let's see. You always ask that question, and I'm never prepared.
I always do. You should always be prepared, George.
Well,
I'll give you a slide here.
yeah. You know what? I forgot that this was going up against Wicked was going up against Gladiator 2. That ought to be interesting.
Yeah,
Uh,
Glicked is what they're taking the Barbenheimer approach to these two movies, expected to make a lot of money. Glicked is the term that people are using for this combo weekend of movies.
you know what? There isn't a lot on the release schedule.
Mm-hmm.
It's even the fourth quarter has been sacrificed, in my opinion. I don't know what I'm gonna look at.
Okay.
I mean, I'm gonna peruse links, see what's there, and go from there.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll keep everybody guessing. But until then, as always, George, great to be back with you. I'm so glad that you are stopping by and talking movies. I missed you, and we're glad to have you back, and glad you're healthy and ready to go and getting those theater seats warm again and watching some movies in the theater once again. So I'm so glad that you're back, and we will get back at it again in short order.
Okay, sir. It's good to be back. It's good to be missed. Missed
Yeah,
you
well,
too.
you were very missed, George. I missed you. I'm glad you're back. You take care of yourself.